I woke up to silence so profound. It wasn't the kind that soothes or comforts. It was a kind that screams you've been forgotten. No, erased. No familiar clatter from the kitchen. No inviting aroma of cinnamon rolls or freshly brewed coffee. Just cold, gray light slipping to the blinds, casting long shadows over an empty house. I reached for my phone, hoping for a message. Nothing. Not a single word. Not even from her. She always sent a cheerful Merry Christmas, babe, come downstairs, or something sweet like that. But this time, nothing. I dragged myself out of bed and walked into the living room. The stockings were gone. The pile of gifts that had once filled the space beneath the tree vanished. Even my jacket, the one I always left hanging by the door, had disappeared. It was as if I had never belonged there, never existed in their carefully crafted plan. At 6:41 a.m., I called her. She answered almost instantly, her voice too casual, too practiced. "We thought you were in a van with your cousins," she said, with no trace of guilt, no hint of confusion, just a hollow, rehearsed surprise. I didn't argue. I didn't demand answers. I simply absorbed the lie. No one had noticed I wasn't in any of the 4 vans carrying 17 people to the cabin. I let the silence stretch between us, then hung up. 2 hours later, her sister accidentally sent me a screenshot meant for my wife. It was a group message, cold and callous. "He's really not here. Our plan worked." I read those words over and over, letting them blur until the edges bled into each other. The pain shifted, hardening into something colder and darker. I didn't reply immediately. I waited 15 minutes, let them stew in their panic. Then I sent one simple message, "Merry Christmas." That was it. Then I canceled the $12 $500 cabin reservation. It was under my name, paid with my card, my generosity weaponized against me. I met Claire 10 years ago. Back then, she was warm when I was drowning. Her family took me in. Or so I thought. The years slipped by in rituals. Birthday dinners, baby showers, Sunday potlucks. I bailed her brother out of debt, got her father a private specialist when his health declined, looked after her niece during her sister's breakdown. I loved them like my own family, but I was never truly one of them, looking back. There were signs I chose to ignore, the smirks during serious conversations, whispered jokes behind closed doors, the secret languages I wasn't invited to speak. I turned a blind eye. Love does that to you. But now I see it clearly. Slow erosion, 1,000 paper cuts disguised with smiles. After the screenshot, I went silent. No confrontations, no explosions. I calculated my moves carefully. Transferred funds, froze joint accounts, canceled my wife's credit card, all quietly, methodically. By 8 a.m., the messages started flooding in. By 8:30, I had 101 missed calls and one voicemail that simply said, "Emergency." No details, no apologies, just panic. They had driven 4 hours into a snowstorm, to a cabin they no longer had access to. 17 people, for vehicles stranded, no food, no reservation, no plan B. And I made sure of that. Weeks before Christmas, I had sensed something was off. The group chat that excluded me was the first clue. I noticed her phone lighting up with laughter late at night, the kind she tried to hide. I clone her phone, maybe not legal, but when you're hunted like prey, you learn to become the predator. I read everything they planned for months. A family-only trip to reconnect. And I was the outlier, the punchline. Claire's messages stung the most. He won't even notice. He's too busy playing provider. That one hit me deep, so I planned. I filed for divorce 2 days before Christmas and served her through email the moment they crossed state lines. I included every screenshot, every cruel word, every sneer, digital proof of their betrayal. The cabin was non-refundable unless for medical reasons, so I fabricated a doctor's note. The money was refunded into my personal account. By noon, my phone was vibrating nonstop. I turned it off and drove to my sister's house across town. She greeted me with tears and hot chocolate, the kind of warmth I thought I'd lost. She always knew they were snakes, even when I didn't. We ate dinner. exchanged gifts, and I laughed for the first time in weeks. Meanwhile, they sat outside a locked cabin, stranded and abandoned, trying to call someone who had already vanished like smoke. Claire came back 3 days later, alone. The house was empty, half the furniture gone. She looked around like a stranger in her own home. I watched her through security feed, not flinching when she screamed, called out, begged. Then she texted me, "You didn't have to do this. We were just joking." I replied with a final move of my plan, a framed photo of her sister's screenshot, blown up and printed, alongside the divorce email timestamped at 7:59 a.m., 4 minutes before the emergency voicemail. I left it in the living room, right where the tree had once stood. She never responded, but her lawyer did. She's contesting the prenup now, claiming emotional manipulation. I sent the court a packet. Every message, every plan, every ugly truth, all typed out in her own words. She lost before the battle even began. Now the house is mine, peaceful again. The silence feels earned. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I disagree. It's best served silent. Let them scream into the winter storm, wondering how the man they overlooked became the shadow that dismantled their holiday, their money, their comfort. I don't hate them anymore. I don't have to. They gave me clarity. And I gave them a gift they'll never forget.